Hey everyone, Jeff Risen here with the Daily DLP. It is February 4th. Welcome. Did you watch the Pro Bowl last night? I actually did, believe it or not. I'll talk about that in a minute. But, we have a fun little show today. We're getting back into me being by myself for a day, although tune in tonight because Chris and I are going live tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern is the scheduled time. Everything should be good, and we will break down a couple of these things a little bit more, but we'll get right into it. So yesterday was the news that Levi, Onwuzurike, and Josh Paschal had their contracts told. That means that they, and I recorded a little reaction video on it. If you want to watch that, you can search it out on the channel here with the DLP. But it's basically like 2025 never happened for them because they both spent the entire season on the NFI list. And that means that their contracts from what was supposed to be in 2025 are actually in place for 2026. So they are no longer free agents. They are Detroit Lions, as both were scheduled to be in the final years of their contracts. What does that mean contractually? Well, for Onwuzurike, one thing that I did note as it came back, he had an incentive in his deal. He had a 1-year, $4 million deal. That is what he will be paid in 2025 or 2026 in terms of the cap thing. $3.5 million of that was guaranteed. Now there was a $2 million signing bonus. I'm going to assume that got paid to him because it's a signing bonus, right? You get paid that at signing. So the cash outflow will probably only be $2 million this year, but he also had a incentive likely to be earned clause for sacks, basically, and playing time. That was $250,000, and that he did not achieve that. So that will actually get credited back to the Lions cap. So they get a bump of about $250,000 there, which is kind of nice. As for Paschal, it's the final year of his rookie contract. Again, being on NFI means that they one of the big distinctions between NFI and IR or non-football injury, non-football illness list. The team's not obligated to pay them. Now they can, and we don't know beyond the signing bonuses if those guys were paid or not. So that's sort of the salary cap ramifications of what's going on. Look, I don't know if either of these guys is going to make the team. They shouldn't be expected to contribute to the team, but if they can, hell yeah, man, bring them back in. They know the system. Levi played pretty darn well in 2024 before his knee gave out. He wound up having to have knee surgery. They did unexpectedly found a torn ACL after he'd signed his contract, which kind of rubs me the wrong way, quite frankly, but it is what it is with that. He's back. That wasn't his back problems that he's had a lot of. And I still marvel that Levi is playing football after having spinal fusion surgery. Like, wow, man. Because early on, you might remember, and somebody pointed this out in the comments of the little quick video that I did. Early on, he wasn't exactly noted for his work ethic in Detroit. And he has shot that down in flames with being able to come back from an unprecedented surgery. Nobody's ever done that before. Pretty cool. Paschal, again, back surgery last offseason. His prior issues included melanoma that had metastasized in his foot. He's also had knee problems. I believe he had a hamstring issue. Last year, he missed it for a back problem. So, again, it's nice to have them back. They can certainly compete for roles, but they should not be counted on to play any significant snaps at all. And probably shouldn't be I don't think that the Lions need to pencil them in as making the team. Like, these are guys that have to prove that they can make the team before, they're being a second round draft pick for each of them shouldn't mean anything anymore, especially with Levi being on a second contract. So it's nice to have the depth back and competing, and that helps flesh out what we're going to see at the beginning of training camp, assuming they're healthy, which in both cases is a bit of a stretch. I don't know. We'll see. But that's what's going on with that. Got to talk a little bit about the Pro Bowl. Okay, so I was not going to watch it. I have not watched the Pro Bowl, the game, well, even back when it was a game, in a very long time. I am generally not a fan of all-star competitions. The one exception, I do watch the NHLs because it's pretty sweet. They're still playing hockey. I guess baseball is technically still baseball, but baseball's off my radar. I watched more tennis last Saturday than I watched baseball in the last 3 years. Aussie Open, bucket list trip for me. Would be nice to be in some warm weather these days. Oy. So I did. I was watching the Mavericks-Celtics game. I got a little bit out of hand, despite Cooper Flagg's best efforts. So I switched it over, and I turn it on, and as I'm turning it on, I see Jared Goff throwing a pass to Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm like, okay, you got me. I'm in. Now, it's not football. It's flag football. Flag football's different, and it's tough for those of us who cut our teeth and grew up on football. I mean, I came of football age in the 1970s, watching, Jack Lambert, Randy Gradishar, like the linebackers, full contact hitting. My goodness, Clay Matthews, the elder, was one of my favorite players as a kid, growing up in Cleveland. I was a huge Bubba Baker fan for the Lions. Lots of dudes from that era that were like physical and mean. Jack Tatum, Joey Browner, dudes that would like decleat you in a second. And that's not flag football. And if you can come to the acceptance that it's not that, it can be enjoyable. Now, I'll be straight up. I actually enjoy girls' flag football more than I enjoy men's flag football. And I've seen high school girls' games. I've actually had the opportunity to be a guest commentator for one of them. And it's fun. It's cool. If my daughter wasn't playing another sport at the time, she would play. Like, she'd be all over it. And it's a great opportunity to grow the game that way. It's great for when you can't get 11 guys on a side. You want to play 5-on-5, 7-on-7. Don't have any dudes that are linemen. It's fun. The action's okay. It was kind of, I don't know, it was compelling. It's better than nothing, but it's going to be tough to sell it to football blue bloods, man, because it is a different game. And it's not being, I don't think the NFL frames it very well as being a different style of game. So that's something that they can maybe work on. I haven't really seen a lot of reaction around. I am off social media as much as I possibly can be, so I haven't really checked into that too much. Having said that, you can follow me at Jeff Risen on X and at JRiz19 on Blue Sky. And I do check on those periodically throughout the day. But I needed the mental health break, quite frankly, from being on those all the time. And I'm happier because of it. Maybe that's something you can try too. I don't know. Weird times we're living in. So I'm not going to diss the Pro Bowl. And I came into today kind of thinking that I would, but I did watch it. Like, it was NFC won. It was fun. It was, again, if you like flag football and can get past the fact that there's no blocking, that there's no hitting, it's a tough sell for a lot of people. I get that. It was all right. It was better than when they were playing actual 11-on-11 football and nobody was doing anything. Like, these guys were actually trying, and I do appreciate that. And it was cool to see Lions in there too. Got to get back to the prospect of the day. Today's comes by popular request because his name has been everywhere lately. We'll bring him up here. Georgia offensive tackle Monroe Freeling has been the talk of the draftosphere of late. Not just in Lions land either. I was going to have Cody Stutes from the Houston Football. He's basically the Houston version of Justin Rogers. And he does a fantastic job. He was down at the Senior Bowl. We were supposed to connect, and he was going to be on. And one of the players we were actually going to talk about, even though he wasn't there, was Monroe Freeling from Georgia, because apparently the Texans fan base has like glommed onto this guy as their first round pick already. And there's a fair portion of Lions fans that are getting there as well. And while I don't exactly want to rain on that parade because there are some things to like about Monroe Freeling, he better not be a starting offensive tackle for the Detroit Lions in 2026 because he's not there yet. There are a lot of things to like, though. Let me pull it up here. He is listed 6'7", 315. Both seem legit and to check out. Played left tackle and right tackle, primarily left tackle at Georgia over 3 seasons, mostly as a reserve. He does have 16 starts. Started every game this past season except one, which he was coming off of an injury. He got hurt in their Kentucky game, which is one of the games that I sat down to watch yesterday as I was writing these things up. And he only played, I think it was 10 snaps in that game. Rolled his ankle, had a high ankle sprain, which is interesting. So let's flip to Georgia for a quick second because we do have Tate Ratledge on the roster from there. Most of those offensive linemen have a prophylactic procedure, and get your mind out of the gutter, it means preventative, where it's called tightrope surgery, where they actively go in before you even have one. And what they do is it's where a high ankle sprain is. These are your tibia and your fibula, and they're together here at the bottom of your foot, and they spread apart. This is like a thread. It's like a titanium rope that goes through and ties it so it can't spread. I don't know if he's had that. It's not documented that Freeling has had that. Tate Ratledge has had that, but he did get a high ankle sprain, and maybe that's why they do that. But he also just came back very quickly and played through pain. And I watched, I believe it was Texas and Mississippi State were after that. I watched those games, and you couldn't really tell that he'd been injured. So got some toughness to him, has some dog to him. Played through a shoulder injury that led to surgery in 2024 as well. Things to like: his length, man, 6'7", long arms, but he's not like gangly with the long arms. He fires them out. And we talked about this with Owen Reese in the Shrine Bowl thing. A lot of times long-armed tall guys have a hard time resetting quickly and firing out again. Freeling actually does a really good job with that, and that's one of the big appeals for him. As it says on here, good grip strength. If he gets especially his outside hand, if he gets that on you, it's tough to get away. He's very good at getting his hand inside, like under your shoulder, right in here, right in there, even grabbing on a little bit in the armpit. And he's very good at that and can control things pretty well that way. He is light on his feet. He does move laterally decently. I'm not going to say it's the best, but it's good enough. Quick pass sets, man. Dude he fires out of his stance and can go in either direction, inside, outside, right, or left, and reset very quickly. As I hit my microphone, sorry about that. Need less visual aids, I guess. Yeah, it's early in the morning. Hope you're enjoying it. He's really good about having, especially guys that are lined up in like a wide 9 or coming from the second level or coming from outside his immediate arm reach. He's really good at squaring them up off the snap. And that is important. That is something that just a couple of guys that come to mind that do that incredibly well. Jake Matthews of the Falcons does that very well. And Rashawn Slater of the Chargers, who unfortunately was injured this past year, does that extraordinarily well. That was one of the big reasons why I liked him a lot in that draft. He was in the Panay draft, and I had those two ranked right next to each other, and they've both been awesome. Panay's been better, but Slater's pretty damn good too. I like that a lot because one of the things that means is that you don't get beat quickly. With Jared Goff as your quarterback, you need that. Even if you're just like delaying him a half a second where he has to, like, the defender has to make an extra move or pause or something, that's important. And Freeling is really, really good at that. And that is definitely one of his biggest appeals. If he does lose initially, he does have enough functional athleticism and use of his length to react and at least, again, get a paw on it. This is something that early in his career, Penei Sewell wasn't very good at. That was one of the big knocks on him coming out of college, was that if he got beat right away, like all he would do would like try to two-hand shove the guy like after he got past him. Freeling's got a little bit more than that. And I like that. So those are very positives. Doesn't look like he's ever confused by things. I saw him where he had one pre-snap read where he missed an assignment, but it wound up being okay because the guard to his inside picked him up, which, hey, teammates, you need that on the offensive line. You are 5 as 1. Does have some anchor ability. If you try to bull him, it's better when they're like right on top of him, lined up heads up. Guys that can get a little bit of a runway, get a little bit of, a couple of steps into him. Look, that's a problem for everybody. That's a serious problem for Caleb Lomu, who will get compared to him a lot, I think, in the coming days, coming months. But he's acceptable there for sure. And the nice thing, he's 21 years old, still green, still learning, and the upside is still there quite a bit. Now, there are some drawbacks, and nearly all of them are in the run game. And I'll just say the first snap I watched was against Kentucky, and first run snap, fell right off his block, fell onto his ass. Not so good. He's on the ground a lot in the run game because he lunges out. He gets his weight way too far forward. He also has a tendency to drop his head a little bit, which I don't care for. That leaves him vulnerable to guys who can get off. And like, it's different when you're here and when you're here. It's just the way your body is. It's a lot easier to knock somebody over when they're down a little bit instead of when your head's up and looking right at him in the eye. And he suffers from that. Just doesn't move people in the run game much either. Now, Georgia, I want to say, and this is where I'm not sure that he's the best schematic fit for a power duo type scheme, which is what the Lions primarily run with the run. He looks like an outside zone guy to me, a guy who can, because he moves so well, he can get to that gap quicker than a lot of other guys can. He's certainly better at that than Taylor Decker right now. But the Lions don't ask Taylor Decker to do that. They don't really run a lot of those zone run concepts. So I'm not sold that he's the best schematic fit for this Lions offense. Might fit Houston better because Houston does run that. Shout out to my guy Cody. Just doesn't move people that much. And when he does get out in space, get out to the second level, he's tall. And that's where his length doesn't necessarily come into an asset because he's got I call it in basketball, burp and settle, where you've got to just like, okay, I'm running full speed and now I've got to try to hit this guy and he's not where I expect him to be. And I don't think Freeling anticipates defender movements very well. That was something that was very obvious. It was in the Auburn and Mississippi State games. I made notes of it where he's like, oh crap, he's not here. What do I do? That happened. It's almost always in the run game. Like he's much better in pass protection than the run game. Now, the other one, he does have shoulder surgery, had it after the 2024 season, didn't show any signs of it being a problem at all in 2025. And he does just have the 16 starts. I believe 14 of them are at left tackle. I think 2 were at right tackle. I might be one off on that, but he's an interesting guy. He graded out for me, and I have not done all the offensive linemen yet. He is lower graded for me than Caleb Lomu is. Not by a lot, but his grade that I gave him on my grading scale, which I borrowed from our lads many, many years ago, was commensurate with a high second-round pick. And right now, I have not updated my overall big board yet, but the last time I had him on, where I had just done like a cursory overview of him, he was number 46. And he will probably move up some, but I don't anticipate him being a top 32 prospect for me. So I would love to get Monroe Freeling much more in the second round if I'm Detroit. And like, I'll be straight. I don't know, because there's a lot with, bring Freeling back up here. There's a lot of hype around him right now before testing, and I do expect that he will test decently well. I don't think he's an explosive athlete or not top of the line athlete. Like, I think his RAS, I'm going to guess it's going to be around 8, maybe 7.5 to 8 range, which is perfectly fine for a starting offensive tackle. He's not this, wonder kid athlete, though. At least doesn't show that on tape. But right now, like, he seems to be, and I think it's because nobody's like a true real believer in Caleb Lomu, Spencer Fano, even Francis Mauga from Miami. Like, all the offensive tackle prospects have some warts, and people seem to be just getting around now to Freeling, and they haven't really seen his warts yet. And I feel like once that happens, once people watch, go watch the Auburn game, go watch the Florida game. I don't think was his best. Texas was okay. I don't think he gave up a sack in that one. He did get beat for a sack in Florida. And I did watch actually early on in the season. I watched the Marshall game just out of fun. And he did fine there, but it's Marshall. You know how that goes. So I don't know where his draft range is going to be just yet. I would like to tell you that he will be there at when the Lions make their first pick. Could be gone by then, depending on how the board plays out. That's still something that we're all trying to figure out. I don't believe he will be there in the second round. So for me, he's going to be overvalued if the Lions take him in the first round, but not egregiously so. And again, there's still a lot of time to go out. But that's Monroe Freeling, your prospect, Lions draft prospect of the day. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We are going live tonight on Wednesday night. Keep that in mind. We will be back tomorrow with another daily DLP, and we'll figure out what we're going to talk about before then. But we will have a prospect of the day again then, too. Jeff Risden signing out. Be good to one another.